This is Laugh or Death, hosted by keynote speaker Paul Ozenkup.
So just a little disclaimer about this episode. This was one of two episodes where we had a little bit of recording error, I guess, a little technical error, where my microphone, for some reason, was giving way too harsh of S sounds. So I sounded kind of like a teenager who had way too many braces in their mouth, like, Mom said it's time for supper, Sam, so come to the table. You know, a little bit of that, not quite as bad as that. But you may notice that the sound quality on my mic specifically isn't as good as normal, but we still thought that the content in these episodes was too good to pass up. So we wanted to still give you this episode, and we cleaned it up as best we could. Enjoy.
All right. Well, my guest today, I'm very excited to have a lovely comedian, Maggie Maye, who made her late night debut on Conan and was featured on Last Call with Carson Daly in the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival, South by Southwest. She's a contributor for The New Yorker, and her latest comedy special is called Sweet Enough. Maggie Maye was once named as the best stand-up comic in Austin, and also a 6-year-old once told her that she was the funniest person ever, and we all know that kids rarely lie. So welcome, Maggie. Happy to have you.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So as I prepared you that I ask everyone the same first question on our podcast, which is, what is something weird about you that you love, or something weird that makes you happy?
I guess you could probably see behind me that I've got like a ton of dolls. I've got a Barbie estate dream house here. I'm a doll collector.
Yes.
I love dolls. When I grew up, I loved dolls, but I didn't live in an area that had a lot of African Americans, so they did not have a lot of African Americans. Why would you? Who's going to buy them? No, I was not going to buy enough to turn a profit for these people, so they, didn't have them. So when I grew older and I moved to more diverse areas and they had more, dolls like me that I'd always wanted, I just started collecting them. I started putting them into little dioramas and scenes, and it's covering my house. But it makes me really happy to watch TV and see like the line of dolls that I have positioned there in front of the TV. I think it's cute.
That's great. So you're a grown woman who's still playing with her dolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And when because I've seen on your Instagram, like I've seen you sometimes we'll break that out and do funny kind of little sketches with those and that kind of stuff. Is it like a stress reliever for you, or is it more just a collecting hobby kind of thing?
I wouldn't say a stress reliever. It's for sure something that's like fun to do, and something that's like, making little things and like putting little things in positions that are just so it requires you to like kind of forget what's going on and concentrate on what's in front of you. So
yeah,
I guess in a way it like is a good, I don't want to say escape, but it's a good like, break from, what all is going on.
I love it. Is there a certain doll that has like a particular story, or one that's just your favorite, or the like, I don't know, most rare, or so, like one of them that sticks out to you that's like, oh, this one is the best?
Actually, my favorites are kind of behind me. I don't know if you can see this one up here, the Nigeria Barbie. I'm first generation Nigerian American. So, of course, when I got that one, I was super excited. A friend of mine got that for me for my birthday. It was wonderful. Then I've got a couple dolls over here. When I go do comedy in other cities, I like to, pick up a souvenir from that city. So, this one I got Lexington. This one I got, gosh, I don't remember. I remember. Maybe that one was also Lexington. I like these two. Position a little bit better so you can see them. These are my favorite face molds, and they're also like,
oh yes,
nice little.
That's cool. I had no idea they had that many Barbies. I had no idea that was a thing. I do remember though, watching you do stand up. You talk a little bit about your heritage, your family heritage, your Nigerian name, that kind of stuff. So you said you grew up, there weren't very many dolls that look like you. Where did you grow up? And then were you always like kind of funny? How did you grow up, and how did that lead to comedy?
So I am from South Texas. I grew up right on the border.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Drive into Mexico, no problem. You know, yeah. Growing up, I always thought I was funny. I made all my friends laugh. I would make, the teachers laugh and my parents and stuff. And more than that, funny is something that I wanted to be. So it was something that like I had a vested interest in trying to like do because it was, I loved to be amusing.
Gotcha. And so that it wasn't like, oh, this is just who I am. I mean, maybe some of it was that, but it was also like, I see the power in this. Like, I want to continue to be the funny one and make people laugh and entertain people, that kind of stuff.
It was fun, and doing plays and doing skits and stuff like that. It was always just more fun to be the one that said the funny thing. And also, I wanted to say the funny thing, but I wanted to think of the funny thing to say, and yeah, so I guess that was just I would say a driving force. If there was humor to be added, I wanted to add that humor. If there was levity to a situation, I wanted to provide that levity.
Is that something that you inherited, you think? Like, where do you think you got your sense of humor? Is that because I can't remember if your parents were direct immigrants from Nigeria, is that right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, and so what it was did they bring with them, like, a great sense of humor, or is that something that you developed, to adapt to a more serious household?
Oh no. My dad is very funny. Like he's very, very funny. My
Yeah.
dad is very charming and charismatic and very smart and very sweet. And yeah, he was always really funny too. Well, he still is.
Yeah.
He didn't stop being funny because I stopped being a kid. But yeah, he that was and Nigerians are funny people. We like to have fun. We like to live life and celebrate it. So and growing up watching TV and everything, my favorite shows were the ones that were funny. But
Right. That's kinda where stuff came up for me too, is like, I mean, obviously at school and with friends and stuff, but man, TV was a huge part of like, I saw that stuff, I thought it was funny, I wanted to emulate it, that kind of stuff, and, that I would get so much of that just from watching funny shows and things like that. What is there a show that was formative to you, like, when you were watching it, you were like, "Oh, this is where I feel like I adapted some of my sense of humor."
oh, absolutely, The Simpsons. The Simpsons was huge for
Yes.
me. I love The Simpsons. I still love The Simpsons. They've got a Simpsons stream on Disney Plus, and I'll put it on for my dog, and then I'll just keep it on when I come home. Like, I'll put it on for her when I leave the house, but I also put it on, like, if I'm gonna clean the house or be away from the television, because I've watched all of the episodes so many times. I can hear
Yep.
what's happening, and I can imagine it in my head, so I don't have to sit in front of the television to watch it. I can, like, enjoy the episode and be in different rooms in my house.
I am so with you. The Simpsons is like one of the best. Just put it on, and you could be like, just have episode after episode, and you're catching funny clips of it. And when I was a kid, same Simpsons was like one of the top couple. And I like to do a lot of voices and stuff. And the Simpsons, I would always be like trying to, do Barney, like Alma, or Mr. Burns and Simpson, all that kind of stuff. That like it was just such a formative thing, and the writing for The Simpsons was so good too that it was like, this is actually good comedy in the form of a cartoon for kids.
I think that was really the show that, like, introduced me to the idea of irreverence because, like, everything was
Yeah.
just so random. Like, my favorite Simpsons episodes, they would start somewhere, and then they would do part of the thing, and there'd be some kind of a little horseshoe in there, not horseshoe, a monkey wrench in there, and then they would go do something else. And then from that something else, that's where the episode would start. And so it was always just this random stuff that was building and didn't matter and then went on to the episode. And on top of that, like you said, the writing was just so good. Like the words they came up with, like the meh, the the little turns of phrase that were specifically
Yep.
Simpson, those were great. And they affected my vocabulary. They affected how I talk. They affected how my friends talked. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you said it's kind of how you got into to, or like started realizing about like irreverence. How would you describe your comedic style now as a stand-up performer? And even I know you do improv and sketch as well. I mean, do you consider yourself like pretty irreverent? How do you?
I wouldn't say that I was irreverent on like a Simpsons level. I think I have like
Yeah.
elements of that in it, but I'm fairly straightforward.
Mm-hmm. You
Yeah.
got a level of sass, like you've got definitely your stage character is very. You've got some good sass that I love. I was watching your special that you did a couple years ago, and there's definitely a level of that to it that you just kind of bring that confidence and swagger, for sure.
Thank you.
Is there, what do you, in terms of being a comedian, like, is there something that you love? Well, like, what do you love and hate the most about it? Or maybe what do you love or are there misconceptions about being a comedian?
For sure. There's nothing better than making somebody laugh in this world. There's nothing better. I mean, I would be hard pressed to come up with something that's better than making somebody laugh. You know, if it's not the top, it's up there. I just
Yeah.
like seeing people enjoy themselves and like smile and laugh, you know, with abandon or without abandon. I never quite knew the difference between those two. But like I had somebody come up to me, this guy at the end of a show, and he was just like, "Hey, we really needed that. My wife and I both got fired today. We both lost our jobs, and we don't know what we're gonna do. And we really needed a laugh. We really needed that. Thank you." And I will be coasting on that for the rest of my life. I mean,
Oh, man.
that's why, you know, I didn't fix his
Yep.
problems. I didn't fix everything for him, but hopefully, you know, I gave him some escape, gave them some release. I gave them a break from having to think of their things. And, you know, sometimes that's all you can really do. You know, I can't fix anybody's problems, but I can, you know, make you feel a little better for a bit, you know. There-
And
Misconceptions.
you're right. That is like such a great feeling. And it's like it's the difference, I think, between getting a laugh and giving a laugh. Like, it feels great to get a laugh, and it does. I mean, it does a lot for me. You know, it's just kind of like a drug that I'll never get sick of. But knowing that I'm giving people laughs, particularly like a story like that where people are having a really hard time, and if I was able to distract them for small amount of time from whatever their struggles are, man, you're right. There is nothing better than that. That is awesome.
Yeah. Like I'd always said in life, all I want to do is amuse people and inspire them, amuse and inspire. And if I can amuse somebody or I can inspire someone to something, then that's all. I mean, I don't even have to inspire them to stand up. If I can just inspire you to like try something that you think is hard, or, you know, inspire you to do whatever it is that was your bucket list thing. Because you see someone doing something and you're like, okay, well, maybe I like that part. But getting into the misconceptions or the things that I don't like, I
Yeah.
don't like how people will think that stand-up comedians are always on or always fun. You know, I'm not always fun.
Yes.
Sometimes I'm just sitting down, you know.
Right.
Sometimes I just, you know, you know, people will invite me to all kinds of stuff. Somebody was like, "Hey, you want to come drinking with me in my van?" And I was like, "What part of me doing stand-up makes you think that I want to go drink in a van with you, strange? What are you talking about? Like, do you think I'm going to be fun? I'm cracking jokes in that van? Absolutely not. Like,
Right,
what do you think is
exactly.
going to happen here?"
Yeah.
That and people who think that because I'm a comic that I should like all jokes. "Oh, you're a comedian. It's a
Yep.
joke. You'll like it." It's like, well, it wasn't a good one. You know what I mean? Like, I am not, I don't know, comedians, it's a weird thing of people wanting to make you laugh because for some reason that proves something to them. Like,
Yeah. And if anything, you're going to be more discerning about jokes. It's not like, oh, you're a comedian, you probably like all jokes. It's like, well, no, I probably a little more picky about it than the average person. So yeah, no. Yeah, I think you're right. Do you also find that like people just think you're always going to be in a good mood or like always happy go lucky, and it's kind of like, what's wrong with her? What's wrong with her? You're a comedian. Like, you cheer up.
yeah, I mean, it's like you say I come off sassy sometimes on stage. Like, does that appear happy-go-lucky? Like, does this person sassy on stage appear like they're going to be agreeable with bullshit? Like, does that make sense to you?
Right. Yeah, that's a really good point too, because if people think that comedians are always going to be in this great mood, but it's like even a lot of comedic characters, their character isn't even in a great mood. So
Yeah.
it's like, why do you expect?
Why was Lewis Black mean to me? I could have never saw this coming. He's yelling out the whole time.
Exactly.
How did you know it was coming? You heard it coming.
People are like, I invited Larry David to hang out, and he seemed like such a downer. It's like, yeah, well, probably. What's one of your favorite bits or jokes that you've written? And maybe it's like an all-time hit of yours, or maybe it's one that you're like, oh, this is so underrated. Other people don't like it as much, but I love it. Do you have something?
I don't know about. I will say that the jokes that I have a nice affinity to, that I would never do again, are the jokes that I did when I first started out, because like I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have any sort of filter around me. I wasn't, I didn't have in mind any other comedian friends. I wasn't bouncing anything off of anybody. It was just, what I thought before I even started doing comedy, those kind of sets. And, I look back and it's like, this is cute. Like, I can see why you laughed. This is a cute little joke. And this is a nice, I see where you were going. So I have a great affinity for the jokes that I wrote when I was just starting out. Wouldn't tell them again today.
Right.
Maybe, one or two as a joke within a joke or whatever. But I have to say that I have to look back, and I'm proud of little Maggie for taking that step, and I'm proud of her for working on the jokes, and I'm proud of her for how hard she worked on them, because I mean it took a long time to like finally get the courage to go out and do it the first time. But I have a nice space in my heart for those jokes.
Yeah. And do you find that like from the time when you first started doing that to now, I mean, obviously, you probably refined your process. I'm sure your jokes have gotten just technically better over time. But do you feel like your sense of humor has changed over time? Like what you find amusing and funny over the course of time that's evolved as well?
Yeah. I feel like when people start off in comedy, we have kind of an understanding of like what is baseline funny, if that makes any sense. Like of funny things. Like we're not blind to like what humor is when we start. But the more you do it, the more it moves from that superficial surface level of, hey, this is funny, and this is a funny premise and a funny little tag to go with it, or like premise punchline tag, and then it goes into let me look further into this, past the surface. Let me move, let me dig a little deeper than this. So I think that while when I started off, it was good comedy, but it was very surface level. Now it's more deep. There's more depth to the jokes that I tell.
Yeah. One thing that I was curious about, like, so I first saw you when you came out here to Bozeman, Montana, and you also shot a special here at the comedy club here. And one joke I loved, like you came right out and, hey, everyone here in Bozeman, Montana, I'm happy to be here. You said, I've never been here before. So I Googled like, how many Black people are in Montana? And Google was like, well, you're coming, aren't you? Which is like such a good joke, but it immediately kind of called out this thing in the room, which is, the entire audience probably was white because we're in Montana.
I had talked to a comic that day or the day before, Jake. I think it was Jake.
You had what?
I talked to a comic from Bozeman, and I was just like, listen, because I kind of got to a point. The person who recommended Bozeman to me was Gareth Reynolds, and he was like, it's great, fantastic, it's going to be, you're going to love it. And I was like, great. And then I get there and I was like, wait a minute. Gareth and I are very different people. Like,
right.
Gareth is, y'all's native son coming home. I am someone completely different. So I
Right.
messaged one of the local comics and I was like, hey, can I just ask you a couple of questions? Like, what's up here? Like, how fast am I going to have to run to my car at the end of it? Like, what is, give me the skinny on it. And he was just like, yeah, he's like, we know who we are and we can take a piss at ourselves for it. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
you can take a joke about yourself. Okay, cool. I can tell
Yeah.
this without fear. I mean, I would have told it anyway, but I'd have been a little scared.
Yeah. It was a great joke. And I'm curious, like, I mean, you've done comedy all over the place in all sorts of different markets. Do you enjoy being like doing comedy in a situation like that where it's like, hey, I am clearly different from the audience in some way, and then calling that out? Or I mean, what's that like for you to do that? Because I mean, you even taped your special in Bozeman, which is like, that's to me like a brave, bold choice to do that.
That's a wild choice, especially having never been there before. That was a wild
Right.
choice, and I will admit it, but thank God it turned out well for me.
Well, at one point you make a joke about like I can't remember exactly what the joke is, but it was like, well, that's some real like white women stuff, Karen with an I who's dotting it with a heart or whatever. And I'm watching this white woman in the audience just dying laughing, like it's so I was like, man, so much of it was about like how you connect with the audience, I think, and then they feel comfortable, like, all right, we could all just kind of make fun of ourselves and each other and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think that having a playful audience or an audience that doesn't take themselves too seriously is definitely helpful. Um, I've for sure seen a lot of comedians telling jokes and having audience members like lose it over very little provocation. I'm really surprised it's never happened with me. Like I'm waiting for the day. You know what I mean? But
Right.
oh, I would love to be in a situation where somebody in the audience like lost it over something that I said. Oh, I can't wait.
Oh, you're like, I wish they would.
I wish that
That's
would.
funny.
When I watched that video, Ariel, when they threw the beer can to her, and I was like,
Yeah.
I can't do that. Like, I can't. I mean, she
Right.
handled it perfectly, picked it up and drank it. Me, I would have thrown a stool into the crowd, like, or who knows what I would have done something. Maybe not throwing a stool, maybe not assault, but wouldn't have been drank.
Yeah,
Somebody
maybe.
else would get hurt.
Who knows though? You're pretty tough up there on stage, but there's something about the vibe you give too that it's just like so friendly and approachable. I think that's why you don't get a lot of that. It's like people, you get that connection first, and they know that you're just trying to make them laugh, and it's like so easy going. So with
I
this
like that.
podcast,
I like that people don't
say
try
that
that
again.
with me because I like that people don't try that with me because they're like, oh, she's trying. Leave her alone.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, don't that you have other audience members come to your rescue if someone starts heckling you. Hey, you stop it. She's doing her best up there, okay?
She's smiling through it. Leave her alone.
Right.
Go on, sweetie. Go on
That
with
would
your little jokes, sweetie.
yeah. Support that good is like the worst kind of condescension. Like, she's doing her best up there, okay? So,
Go ahead, dear.
uh,
Don't listen to him.
right. Yeah. You go ahead and do your little skit, okay? Yeah, we'll shush everybody. That's funny. Um, so with this podcast, Laugh or Death, the idea is just to kind of, I don't know, talk about the lighter things in life and about our sense of humor and that kind of stuff and how it kind of gets us through. I'm wondering if there's times in your life when you've been dealing with something difficult, a hard time, and how humor helps you through that, and or like how you're able to like mine your struggles for nuggets of humor. I know some of your comedy comes from pretty difficult things in your life. So yeah, take it away. I'm wondering if there's any moments like that that come to mind.
Oh, absolutely. I am a huge believer that comedy is like one of the functions of comedy is spitting in the face of the things that scare you. And there's no better way to cut down someone than to laugh at them. You know what I mean? Like women are afraid men are going to kill them. Men are afraid women are going to laugh at them. Like your,
Oh yeah.
yeah, like the comeuppance comes through laughter. I always remember that scene from like The Princess Bride, wherever the Mandy Moore character is like, she's like a real bitch and she's doing all kinds of stuff. And then someone hits her with an ice cream cone and everyone's laughing at her. Oh, so-and-so got coned. She got coned. And they're making, and like, that's her defeat, was everyone is laughing at her. Everyone is making fun of her. She's not taken seriously. You can't take someone seriously as a threat if you're laughing at them. And I think that's the same for other things as well. Like I can't take certain things seriously if I'm laughing at them. I can't be scared of something if I'm laughing at them. I remember when I was getting, a while ago, I had like 3 surgeries in like 6 weeks, and they were all like, they all came out of nowhere. I got my tonsils taken out, and then like a couple weeks later, they were like, "Oh, your appendix is about to rupture." And when my appendix was rupturing, they were like, "Oh, P.S. also, you got like some dermoid cysts on your ovaries, and they're pretty big." And everybody was like, of course, my family is concerned. Of course, they're like worried, but not trying to show it. And so, I'm getting ready for surgery for the last one. And, my sisters are coming in and they're, putting on a brave face and smiling and everything. And I'm just like trying to crack jokes with them and try to make fun of things and everything. And my doctor comes in, I'm cracking jokes with him. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've gotten in trouble with doctors trying to crack jokes. And they're like, "Ma'am, please stay still.
This is serious."
No, we're not joking. We're right about to biopsy you. Can you calm down?" And I'm like, because they had me, they had my arms out once, and I was just like, "I'm Jesus Christ superstar." And they're like, "We're trying to sedate you, ma'am. And you're not even on drugs currently. You're just making fun of stuff." But
they're like, "No, you're not here to save us. We're trying to save you." Yeah.
Right. And like the same thing, like when
I like the thought of like working out a bit at the doctor's office though. You're like, you've got like all these notes. You're sitting there like, "Okay, hold on. If you didn't like that, here, what if I do it a little different?"
Yeah, I love that.
It's such a good point though. Like what you can laugh at or find humor in, it does take some of the like overwhelming like fear and power away from that thing, whatever it is.
Yeah. And if nothing else, it just gets your mind off of it. And, I remember when one of my sisters was in the hospital for it was a very routine kind of thing she was getting. And I couldn't stop making her laugh because she was, a little bit worried, but I could not stop. And she was just belly laughing and crying. And I was just like, if nothing else, I want you to just be laughing up until they put you out. You know what I mean? That was as much
exactly
for her as for me because I didn't have time to think about like, oh, should I worry? Should I this? Should I that? It was just like, what's the next one? What's the next?
Yeah, it's a coping. It can be a coping strategy at times. To be able to like, all right, yeah, maybe my stress level's a little high. Maybe I am anxious or worried. But you know what? If we can kind of laugh through this, we'll be on the other side of it. And hey, that's one way that I got through it. Some people deep breathe and other people, whatever, yoga. And, a lot of that takes a lot of essential oils that I don't have. But, we can we can laugh through it for sure.
Yeah.
What advice do you have then? So for the average person who's not a comedian, who is listening to us blabber on in their earbuds right now, what advice do you have for them to be able to think like a comedian in the sense of like, hey, maybe I'm going through some hard times or I want to try to find the humor in my life more often. What advice do you have of like how to do that? Like, how do you find humor in things?
You just can't take anything seriously. You know what I mean? If you're taking it seriously, you can't make fun of it. So you have to just get into the mindset of like, this might be something serious I'm dealing with, but I'm not going to deal with it seriously. Like, I'm going to do all the things that I need to do. I'm going to like take care of myself. I'm going to do everything that's in my sphere of influence, but I'm not going to put it on a pedestal. I'm not going to think of it as this big insurmountable thing. Like, right now I have lupus nephritis, which if I stop and think about it is like, oh shoot, that's crazy. Like if I stop and think about it, allow myself to think and allow myself to spiral, it's terrible because I put it up on this big pedestal. But if I wasn't afraid of it, if I wasn't concerned about it, what would I say? Oh, I'd say this, I'd say that, it's this and that. So I can't take it seriously. I can't put it on a pedestal. I have to cut it down and look at it like it's short. I have to look down.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because there are things like that in our lives that, I mean, they're serious and powerful enough and scary enough. So why give them more power? Like, why make it more serious and more powerful with all the dread that we give? So it's like, okay, yeah, this is going to be serious, whether I like it or not. So what if I just think, look, what if it wasn't serious? How would I act? Or what would I say? Or what would I do? What if this was ridiculous? What would I say about it?
And the power you're giving it, like when you put it up on a pedestal and you're like thinking about it and you're thinking about like, the gravity of all of it, the only power you're giving it is the power over your mind. It's not stronger because you're thinking about it more. It's not weaker because you're thinking about it more. The only thing that it's giving power is like over your brain, over your mind, and over how you feel of it. So you have to just decenter it, deplatform it, take the power away from it and see for what it is. You know what I mean? Like I could turn up my condition and be like, oh my God, 2% of the cases, this is what happens. But, that's not going to happen to me necessarily. That might not. The only thing that does is tie my mind up and make me feel terrible and make me feel awful. Whereas if I were to just go make fun of it, I don't feel so bad. And that kind of reminds me of something else that I was going to say earlier. Is like being able to make jokes about it is like a consolation prize. You know what I mean? People will sometimes be like, well, you shouldn't joke about that. You shouldn't joke about this. I've had people be like, oh, well, you shouldn't joke about depression and this and that. It's like, well, why not? If I've got to go through depression, I'm going to look at it like it's short. If I've got to go through all of this thing, if I've got to go through lupus, if I've got to go through this, I'm going to make fun of it. All right. Like there's nothing else I can do other than take my medicine and take care of myself. But what I'm going to do for my mind, so that I don't consume myself with it, is I'm going to make fun of it. I think that a lot of people don't quite understand that, especially if you don't have, a similar ailment. People are like, oh, what did you say? Like, what? And it's like, no, this is one, how I cope with it. Two, how I remove its power. And three, I get to get laughs off of it. I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for that. I didn't ask for any of this. So my consolation is this, is I get to write a good joke and I get to get laughed off of it. So that's quite literally taking the lemons and turning it into a lemonade. It makes some people uncomfortable, but it's not necessarily for them.
Absolutely. That's brilliant. I mean, I love it, the idea of that being a consolation prize, because it's like, hey, I got to deal with this depression anyway. I got to deal with lupus anyway. So I should at least give me the consolation prize of getting to make fun of it for my own sake, if not somebody else's. I mean, come on.
Let me at least get an
So have you been able to work
your
condition with lupus into your stand-up? Do you have any good jokes about it?
I have.
Do you want to share one, or do you want to keeping that private? Keeping that for the club?
Well, I mean, I do them on stage a bunch. I talk a bit about having lupus. Just when you have lupus, you have to take a medicine called hydroxychloroquine, and the drug that they were taking during the pandemic. I don't know if I put this one on my special, but when one of the side effects of hydroxychloroquine is colorblindness, and it's enough of a concern that you have to get 2 colorblind tests a year. Like they won't refill my medicine unless I take a colorblindness test first.
What?
And
whoa,
that's wild. Because like, what does colorblindness matter? First of all, like it doesn't matter. And even if I were to go, like, first of all, it's colorblindness from the hydroxychloroquine, which is what all the MAGA used during COVID. So like, if they went colorblind, they'll be pissed. They're the in-house start really noticing lips and noses. They're not here happy with that. But then also, I I don't much care about colorblindness because, like, who cares? Like, if I go colorblind, if I go black and white colorblind, that would be pretty cool because then my life would just look hella classy, right?
I love that.
Old times, I could do whatever I wanted and just be like, it was a different time, you know?
You walk around talking like an old timer. Oh, see?
Yeah. It's like drinking buckets of gravy in the morning. It's just like, well, that was a different time. They didn't know that then.
That's good. That is kind of a funny possible side effect, though. Like of any side effect you could have. It's like, you might go colorblind. It's like, yeah, well, if it's colorblind or lupus, man, I'll be colorblind. Fine. You know,
Thank
like,
you. Thank
who cares?
you. It's like,
so I can't match my, my shoes and my purse.
Yeah. I was like, I'd never match anyway. I'm Nigerian. Like, we don't do that. We power clash. And it's like, you got the other symptoms I'm going through, right? You think I'm going to be worried about little color blindness? You like, my purple isn't right anymore? Like, come on, man. Most color blindness is just like color shifting. You know, you just kind of like, I don't know, this purple, blue, green. Who cares? You know?
All of a sudden, the worst part of your day is biting into an apple and being like, wait a minute, that's a red apple. I wanted a Granny Smith.
Yeah. I can't believe I have a red delicious lupus. It's weird because I also have like a condition called Raynaud's, which is like your fingertips will turn different colors when it gets hot and cold. So like one of my hands will turn white and the other hand will look normal. Yeah, I don't know how the color blindness would help with that. With having different colored hands and whatnot. But it's like, look, we're like, wait a minute, which hand
was it that I was getting the Raynaud's in? Hold on.
Right. Like, oh no, wait, they look the same now. I don't know. We just got to pick a struggle and run with it. I'm just gonna run with color blindness. If that happens to me, that's fine.
Yeah, heck yeah, that's great. Oh man, see, I can see how there's a ton of material there for you. That's awesome. This has been awesome. I really appreciate you doing this, and I really admire your comedy. I think you're very funny on stage. I know that you've been doing stand-up and improv and sketch for a long time, and so for anybody listening, if you're in the California area, Maggie Maye is part of a sketch group called Hot Coffee. It's an all-black sketch comedy group. Fourth Friday of every month at the Hit Theater on Santa Monica Boulevard. So go check her out, and you can also follow her on Instagram. What's the Instagram again?
It's Maggie Maye haha, and May is spelled Maye. Everything else is spelled normally. I'm just
and we'll put a link to it in the show notes on the podcast, so you can click there and follow along. But Maggie Maye, you're awesome. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun.
You've been listening to Laugh or Death with Paul Ozencup. If you're planning a conference or event and want something smart, meaningful, and actually funny, book Paul to speak. To learn more or to get a copy of his book, The Humor Habit, visit laughordeath.com.